Anush. My name is Diane Kohler. I'm your dietitian for today. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you for coming.
So, let me know what brings you in today to see me.
Actually, I was diagnosed with prediabetes and I'm a little bit frustrated because doctor told me my A1C levels are high, but I don't even know what that means. And I'm so worried because I think I'm going to be on the insulin therapy for the rest of my life and not be able to eat ice cream.
Okay, I can see that you're worried about not being able to eat ice cream, and I hear you saying that you were diagnosed being pre-diabetic. So, well, let me tell you a little about what we're going to be doing today. I'm going to be going over first your diet history, asking you a few questions about what you typically eat. I'll
Mm-hmm.
be introducing some education if you're interested. Is that something you'd like to do today?
Yes, of course. Thank you so much.
Great. And then what we'll be doing is I'll be going over the understanding. We'll be going over some goal setting, identifying any barriers or challenges, and then just wrapping up the session. So just want to let you know what was going to go on today.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, so let's start with your diet history. Is there anything in your background or history that you can tell me about your health that I should be aware of? Um,
Um, Actually, I've been struggling with being overweight for the rest of my life, actually. But recently I tried to manage it a little bit. I started walking, so it is a little bit of movement. Other than that, I don't have any other health issues.
Okay, so what I hear is that you've been having some weight management you've been working with about being overweight, a history of that, and that you have been walking for your
Mm-hmm, exactly right.
okay, and then what I'd like to do next is to go ahead and talk about what you typically eat in a day. That would be for the foods you eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner,
Mm-hmm.
and any snacks in between. If you could kind of give me a time of like from the time you wake up till the time you go to bed, and just every feeding thing that you do.
Okay, sounds good. So when I just wake up, I make sure to eat my breakfast because I've heard that eating breakfast can help you control your blood sugar levels. So I make sure to eat breakfast. So I eat instant oatmeal, um, and I have it with peanut butter or and orange juice, a glass of orange juice, about like and 8 ounces.
Okay.
And around like 11 to 12, before having my lunch, I have a snack, and it's usually a bag of chips. And I also have two cookies, two chocolate chip cookies, and ice cream because I have a sweet tooth. I cannot give up my ice cream. And then during my lunchtime, I usually eat yogurt um, with some honey, 1 to 2 tablespoons of honey. And I sometimes put a little bit of Cheerios in it and then mix them up and then eat. And I another snack that I have is another ice cream before dinner. And during my dinner time, I have some type of meat. So either like bacon or chicken, but they're usually fried in oil. And with that, I have a bread roll with butter. And before going to sleep, I have ice cream, usually again. Or I may have another bag of chips, but mostly ice cream.
Okay, I'm an ice cream lover too, so I can identify. Um, do you have anything for dinner or
Yeah.
just
Yes, for dinner, it's usually a meat, some type of meat
okay?
with like vegetables and sometimes like fried rice,
Okay.
and the meat is fried too in oil. Yeah, that's the dinner usually.
Great. Thank you so much, Anush, for
Of course.
letting me know what you typically eat. And I'm an ice cream lover too, so I can identify.
Thank you.
So what we're going to move on to now is we're going to move on to the education because you told me you had been diagnosed with
Mhm.
pre-diabetes. And I just wanted
Yes.
to reassure you that the pre-diabetes, can be adjusted by lifestyle changes and for nutrition, healthy eating, and activity and hydration. So we're going to go over a couple of those things. So the thing about being pre-diabetic is your your A1C levels were 6.2, and the type 2 diabetes is 6.5. So you still have room to curtail that and work in a direction, a healthy direction. And usually the blood sugar is about 100 to 125 when you're pre-diabetic. So our aim is to get your blood glucose to under 100 and then your A1Cs to about 5.6.
Oh,
So
that,
that's kind of the
that's
goal to keep you from getting progressing further.
that
And
sounds great.
so do you know much about glucose and what that does to your body?
No, I don't know what glucose is.
Okay, so glucose is what the body uses for a main energy source. And what happens, you have an insulin, which helps get the glucose into your cells. So sometimes when you get pre-diabetic, your insulin, you get a little bit insulin resistance, and that can lead to high levels of blood sugar, glucose in
Oh,
the blood sugar. So what we're going to do today is we're going to go over a couple of things that you can do to help with that insulin resistance and help that glucose to get into your cells. How does that
okay.
sound?
Sounds great.
Okay, so I'll go over briefly what we're going to go about, and then we'll go in a little more detail. So the
Mhm.
things that you can do to lower your risk would be to, lose a little bit of weight if you feel that you've been overweight or a little bit up on the weight. That will help your BMI get to a normal level. Practice eating certain eating styles. We'll talk about basic carbohydrate counting, and then also increase your physical activity.
Sounds good.
Okay, so let's start with basic carb counting. So basically, the carbohydrates you're trying to get throughout your day. So basically, on a 2,000 calorie diet, which is
Mm-hmm.
about average, you're going to want to do about 50% carbohydrates,
Mm-hmm.
and that's going to put you at about 1,000 calories, and then that is about 250 grams. So the way carbohydrate counting goes is that every carbohydrate count is about 15 grams of carbohydrate. So what that looks like, it would be like one slice of bread, one small fruit, a cup of milk. So you would want to do for like breakfast, lunch, and dinner, which are your main eating, about 3 to 4 counts of carbohydrates, and then maybe 1 to 2 for your snacks. So how
Okay.
does that sound?
That sounds great. And it doesn't mean I can still enjoy ice cream in moderation.
Yes, it means like you can still enjoy your ice cream. And if we spread it out where you put some protein in it and have your carbs spread out, that's something you can still enjoy and still work towards your, goals of
That's
getting healthy.
perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And then another thing I wanted to mention is thing about exercising, what's great about exercising is it helps the receptors bring in the glucose into your cells. So it has significantly reduced your blood glucose levels.
Oh,
So
okay.
So exercise is good, and they recommend exercise at 150 minutes per week of walking or 75 minutes of vigorous exercise.
Okay. So I think I can do that.
Okay, so those are the things that for education. And what I was thinking is what we can do now. Do you think that some of those things you understood what I was going over?
I think you explained it perfectly and I understand everything. I would like to do the physical activity portion, but I cannot exercise vigorously. But
Okay.
I am willing to start walking slowly.
Okay, great. So we're going to today put down 2 goals. So your first goal would be you would like to increase your walking.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I would walk most days per week, about 5 days, 4 to 5 days per
Okay, so
week.
you want to do 4 to 5 days of walking.
Hmm.
And how long do you think your walking time would be? Like at
I
each session?
can 20 to 30 minutes is
Okay,
doable.
that's reasonable. Okay, you think you can fit that in? So 4 to 5 times a week for 20 to 30 minutes a session?
Of course, yes, I can fit that into my schedule. Even though I'm a student, it's sometimes it gets like really busy, but I can fit that in for sure.
Okay, great. And then looking at the handout that I gave you, is there anything else you'd like to choose on the handout that you could use as your second goal?
Okay, sure. Let me see. The second goal can be um limiting the simple sugars, limiting foods with simple sugars.
Okay.
Uh, for 4 times per week, I think, if it's doable.
Okay, is there any simple sugars in the that you had mentioned that you would like to lower?
Yes, I think I've heard this from another dietitian. Uh, they said juices contain a lot of simple sugars. I don't know if that's true. So I would like to reduce my orange juice intake um, from my breakfast and maybe replace it by the like freshly squeezed juice. I don't know if you recommend that. I can do that or just like limit to 4 ounces instead of 8 ounces.
Yeah, if we look on the handout, the fruit, it says 1 small fruit or 3 cups of blueberries. So juice is a little bit more condensed. So I definitely think going to maybe possibly a half of that, like you said, that was a great suggestion at 4 ounces, because that would cut your carbohydrates in half from what you're doing now.
Okay, sounds good. Then I'll just remove the juice from my breakfast and for most days per week, and then replace it by fruit.
Oh, okay. We could do it 4 ounces too. Limit it to four
Oh,
ounces.
okay, then let's
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah, because that would be half. So you're more than, we don't want to change too much, but either way will work. 4 ounces just to modify it a little bit.
Yes.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is that you want to limit your foods, simple sugars about 4 to 5 times a week. You want to
Mm-hmm.
start out with your juice, limited in half by 4 ounces, or possibly changing it to a small piece of fruit.
Mm-hmm.
So that's great to start with that. You also want to increase your walking 4 to 5 times a week for 20 to 30 minutes.
Exactly.
That sounds great. Now, is there any other questions that I can answer for you and go over during this time?
No, not for now. I think you explained everything like in detail and perfectly, so I understood everything. I learned so much, by the way. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. And I'd like to keep on this journey with you. So possibly we can see you in about 3 to 4 weeks to just touch base and see how you've been doing. How does that sound?
That sounds perfect, and I can come in 3 weeks.
Okay, that sounds great. Well, it was a pleasure to meet you, and I look forward to our next visit. And if there's any other questions, you can always ask me through email. You can text me or call me, whatever you feel most comfortable with. But I'm here to help you with your journey and to work towards monitoring your pre-diabetes. So thank you so much for your time today.
Likewise, thank you very much for all of this explanation. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you.
Bye
Take
bye.
care.
You
Bye.
too.